Welcome back, everyone, to another edition of First Person, sponsored by the Precision Strip Company of Minster, Ohio. A generations-long record of great service and stewardship to this community in Minster, New Bremen, and the community at large of Auglaize County. As we've said before, a great place to either start or finish your career. They invite your comparison. Check them out online, in person, or give them a call. The Precision Strip Company in Minster, Ohio. We mentioned last week on First Person that occasionally we're lucky enough to witness history in the making, as we saw when the New Bremen girls won that school's first state title in volleyball a month ago. But last weekend we were lucky enough to see the culmination of a fantastic story, I think, and comeback of the season with the Minster Wildcats. Geron Stokes, their head coach, is my guest this week on my right. And congratulations, certainly, Geron, on the title, but the way you did it and the way I want to talk about the way you did it is certainly one of the best stories of this 2017 football season.
Yeah, I just think the way our kids handled themselves through a roller coaster of a season was unreal and rare, just from a character standpoint. So,
you know, it's rare. You start out 3-0, and this is what you're talking about, and then you go into that four-game week 4, 5, 6, and 7 when you lose consecutively to teams like Marion Local and I think Delta St. John, maybe St. Henry for Recovery. Did I get them right? The 4 teams right?
We beat St. John's in
well,
week 3, but yeah, it's okay.
I know you lost 4 games consecutively, and to resurrect your season the way you did, and I was there on week 8, 9, and 10, and then to go on that streak to win 5 straight, finish on an 8-game win streak. That is a tremendous coaching job, and it says an awful lot about the character of your seniors. You talk about them all the time, that they bought into what you were selling and can pull that all together like that.
Yeah, they were unreal all year. We went through a stretch where this was the first year I thought our seniors were just owning our practices and owning our program. And we started off great. July and August were phenomenal for us, just from a leadership standpoint, from a practice standpoint. And then we started out 3-0, and then we played Marion, and our kids were so jacked up to like throw a haymaker at Marion. They did. We just physically came out of that like really beat up, and we ended up losing 2 kids right there in that stretch defensively, and then you go back with 4 games with big time heavy hitters right after that. And I remember we kicked our kids out of practice. We practiced for approximately like 7 minutes on a Wednesday just to send them home the week of the St. Henry game, and everybody was frustrated. Coaches were fighting, kids were fighting, kids hated coaches, coaches hated kids, and it was exactly what we needed, where our seniors said, this isn't how it's going to be, this is not how we're going to be remembered, this is not how our team's going to play our practice. So we went and played awful against St. Henry, and they do a really good job, so they exposed every ounce of us. And then from that point on, it was, here's the standard, here's where we're going to be, whether you like it or not, and that was all driven by our kids.
You've been here 4 or 5 years now, certainly going back to the 14 season when you won your first state title against Kirtland, and it takes some time. And I don't know if people in the community, in the school community, at large, the community, statewide, understand how long it takes to really ingrain or imprint a philosophy. And you've said this to me since day one. It's not the fact of winning and losing, it's maximizing the time you have together. It's what you get done and carry that over to Friday night. Winning and losing will take care of itself. Obviously, this is the year where that transpired, that you got the message across, and this program really believes that now.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's kind of hard to argue against. I think some teams aren't built to win state titles. Like they can't get to week 15 because of talent or whatever. And some teams are loaded and can walk to week 15 and never really have to like strain and struggle and handle adversity. I just think that's the best, in my opinion, that's just the best way to attack building teams, is just try to get the best way to attack life, really, is try to get the most out of your deal, whether you're talented or not. And our kids, I think, appreciate that and are bought into that fact that, hey, let's just try to go every single day and create the right habits, create the right behaviors, and just see what happens at the end. Like you surrender the outcome is what ends up happening, and you're okay with it. You can lay your head down on the pillow at night and feel okay about your work on a daily basis consistently.
I want to go back to another conversation we had in August. I came up here for one of your two-a-day practices, and you said to me, I'm very concerned about what we are tackle to tackle. Do you remember that conversation? Because you lost a lot of your offensive line, and how quickly we can mesh this, put this back together, have these kids work together and become a cohesive unit. And yet Al Martin last week, the coach at Cuyahoga Heights, which you took pretty good care of them with 32-7 outcome, consistently said afterwards their offensive line dominated us. They won the line of scrimmage, they won the game. We could not compete with them. They were the advantage we could not overcome. We haven't seen an offensive line play like that against us.
Awesome. I'm so proud of that group. They were 5 kids that didn't really hang out together, that didn't really know each other in any type of depth. They really kids that the seniors were questioned whether they could even play at the varsity level, but they found a hunger, they found an urgency. I'm so proud of the way they came together as a group. They worked as a unit really well. That whole playoff run, they were 5 guys that could communicate and talk and handle business like a group should. You know, just really cool to see a group of people come together like that and own their job.
Throughout the year, and I asked you this question after the game last Friday morning, I've written that I thought Jared Hulsman was the best football player in the best football league throughout the state of Ohio in the MAC conference. And I know there were some people who wrote to me and said to me, you must be out of your mind. You're overlooking this person, there's this person, there's this person. But Jared Hulsman on successive weeks against in your state championship semifinal game and the state championship game came up so big and took that team, put it on his back.
He wasn't going to let us lose. I say this over and over again. People probably get sick of me saying it, but his character's unreal. It's as true of a caring, disciplined, hardworking, tough kid that I've ever come across. It is not a coincidence that he's done and been a part of successful teams. It's not a coincidence that he performs at the highest level, at the highest times. It's not a coincidence that our attitude of our team reflects his attitude, how he carries himself on a daily basis. It's not a coincidence that our program works really hard now because that's who Jared is. And anytime your best kid is that, no matter who's coaching or what you're doing, you're going to have success. So.
And it's so rare, Geron, to see that happen on both sides of the ball because he's just as focused on defense, maybe more so sometimes, than he is on offense.
Sunday morning I got to rewatch the broadcast of our game, and in between every single play, Jared walks around and slaps fives with, touches the head of every single kid out on the field, 10 other kids. One of my buddies watched him for a 4-down defensive series, and he had 40 high fives within 4 plays. And his impact it can't be measured. Just what he does from a leadership standpoint is people don't even notice it because it's consistent, constant all the time, and he just is a game changer for us.
You know, our football analyst for Press Pros is Coach Beckman over at St. Henry, the former coach over there of the Redskins, and he talks all the time about success portends success. You got 2 titles and 3 trips to the state finals in the last 4 years, and this has to be a good imprint on what you're trying to build here, 5th, 6th, 7th grade on up.
Yeah, the achievement stuff doesn't really do anything for me. I think the work ethic, the buy-in, the ability to hold each other accountable.
But they certainly see what's possible.
Yes, they do. I think they've seen that no matter how unathletic or how bad you are early on in your career, or how selfish or how undisciplined you are early on in your career, that you have the ability to grow throughout 4 years, and you can feel really good about yourself walking out of our program as a quality person. Not because of what we do, but because of the standards that the previous seniors have built.
Final question I want to ask you, to people who don't know you, I think sometimes they get maybe the impression that it's hard for you to appreciate what you've accomplished, those 2 titles in 4 years. Have you taken the opportunity to just kind of in the last week to exhale and say, wow, 2 state champions, nobody can take that away from us, 2 titles in 4 years.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I just don't pride myself in state titles. I don't. That doesn't do me like I don't validate myself saying like I'm a good coach now or I've arrived. I just don't. I don't feel like our program's that way. I don't feel like our coaching staff's that way. I don't feel like our kids are that way. I feel really good about what and who our kids are becoming in our program, and I feel like they have a shot to go take over the world with their behaviors and the way they attack things on a daily basis. So.
Even after a 4-game losing streak, and that's how you got there. That attitude describes exactly, the buy-in that got you where you are. Congratulations again.
Thanks, son.
Super story, super thing to have witnessed. We were glad to be there to see it firsthand. And that wraps up this week's edition of First Person with Geron Stokes. Again, brought to you by the Precision Strip Company in Minster, Ohio. Again, generations of stewardship and service to this community in Minster and New Bremen and the All-Glaze County at large. Give them a call, check out their opportunities for your next career move at Precision Strip. That wraps up what we're doing this week, and again, we appreciate your support of what we do each week on First Person and PressProsMagazine.com. For Coach Stokes and our sponsors, we wish you the best of holiday greetings. Have a great time. Basketball coming up, lots of activity on First Person and Press Pros. We think you'll appreciate that. Hope you enjoy it. Until next time, see you again with another edition of First Person on Press Pros.